2003, folks, Ford F350. Customer states it doesn't charge and the cluster doesn't work. The inside truck leaves a little to be desired. It's all tore apart, so I'm not sure if these problems coincide with each other or if they're two separate issues. I don't really know, but we're gonna find out. We pop the hood. We're right in the middle of snow season. We're not in the middle of it, we're in the beginning of it. Brand new alternator and a brand new battery. So we know it's not that, right? Wrong. It can still be that. Usually the cluster, I think, just contains the L circuit. I don't see the plugger on that. I don't know if that's a smart charge alternator. I imagine it is, which on a Ford, to see if the alternator is any good, you just unplug it, start it up, rev it up to, 2,000 RPMs alternator speed or so, and generally speaking, they put out 13.7 volts without any other inputs, their default strategy, which is kind of nice. Maybe you just got a bad part. Maybe it has something to do with the cluster. Maybe we can quit assuming and find out what's wrong with it. Step one, we're going to verify customer complaint. We're in the volts of DC. And we're at 12.05, which in technical terms is 0% battery. We have 0% battery. 12.66 is fully charged. Okay, here we go. So we'll leave that there, 12.07. It's going up. Let me fire this pig up. Contact. Oh, yes indeed. 11.62. Definitely not charging. I don't know if she's a smart charger. So you know, check me on top of me here. Everybody's wanting to do voltage drop and everything on charging system. Well, what do you do if the charging system ain't working? So you know, check my grandmother taught me. We're gonna go hook that to the plus of the battery. We're gonna hook the toaster to the ground side of the alternator here. Yeah, hold on. Well, don't you touch that, you son of a bee. And then we're going to crank her up. We're going to put it by, I don't know what the output is. I don't know if this has a fuse on it, but we're going to do about 70, 80 amps on her. There's 50, 60. I don't want to take it over 100. Okay, there's 80 amperes. So I'm good with that. So what's that tell us? Well, Eric, that's a stupid test. No, really it's not, because what does that tell me? It tells me the alternator ground is good. The wire from the battery or wherever it comes from is good, and it can carry current. It can carry at least 80 amps. So, if we're worried about circuit integrity, is the alternator grounded, is the wire from the battery good, yada yada yada, dot to dot to da. We know that it is now. And you can't use this in every case, but in a case like this, we can't do a voltage drop test on it because there's no current flow. There's no output. And yeah, just as you're typing it, yeah, let's say the alternator is putting out 14 volts, but there's a complete open circuit in this wire. Yeah, we could have seen that with a voltmeter. But at the end of the day, this thing has no muffler on it, even though I've got my tube hooked to it. So running it in the shop's kind of a PETA. Now that I'm making up excuses. But if I had to make one up, that's what I would say to you. Let's look it up and see what else we're missing. Must be either bad alternator or there's something on those two other wires. So let me get a diagram for us. See how this baby works. Okay, lunch is over. That's where I went. I think we left off. We were printing out a diagram and I walked in and so said lunch is ready. The appears we have two wires. One is the L circuit, and the other is a full-time power. Now I do not know for a fact if the L circuit, which is your charging light, you know, has power coming from the cluster, or well, it actually comes, you know, from a fuse through the start switch, through another fuse, and then to the cluster, to the charge light, I would assume, and then to the generator. Now, generally speaking, that L circuit, unless it's a really old system, doesn't have anything to do with the charging. We will find out for sure here. We'll see what we're missing, if anything. Let's see if we can't get it unplugged here, first and foremost. Oh, look at me. Lucky me, I had a pocket screwdriver in my pocket. What in the world? There we go. Okay. We got the big one, and then the little green one. The little green one should be the L circuit, I'm assuming, and it is. The orange with light blue, I think comes from, looks like it comes directly from the battery. Make sure our test equipment's good, and it is, and our light there is good. So, with that being said, that's good. I'm gonna take, we have something here to back probe. I'm going to back probe the L circuit, and we'll see if that works. That is pin number 1 on the diagram. It is also pin number 1. So we're going to back probe that, and well, we don't want that to short out. I'm going to have to get a different back probe because that's going to end up hitting this metal bracket. So this is curious. It's lending me to believe that we may have a faulty alternator unless the L circuit is needed. So let's do this. Just going to open up the poly loom here. We're going to cut the tape back like so. Let's get that unwound. Open this up. And then undo the little bit of tape right here. Okay, that exposes our wires. That's fun to do. Set our probe down. We're gonna plug it back. Well, before we plug it up, let's just make sure that our pin fitment here is good. Everything feels good there. Just make sure somebody wasn't doing what we're doing and shoving the old test light down the hole there. Because we don't want just, you know, a poor fit being the cause of your problems. So we'll go like this. What size are we looking at here? This size? This is probably a little too small. Oh, that pin feels good. That pin feels good. So both the pins feel good. So that's good. That's a good one. And then we're gonna go like so. Plug it up. Want to cut off my excess tape. Wow, this guy needs a new rig. Oh man, almost got that guy. Holy shnikes. Give you the old hood latch and the gut treatment. That's always a fun one to get. Not really. All right. Let's grab a Pomono. We're gonna very, very lightly poke this wire. That's gonna piss people off. That's okay. Ta-da! There we do. There we go. Okay, let's move this. Let's see, what size? It's on a 10 amper. We're going to hook to battery plus. Should we do that right here, or are we starting to play danger? That's okay. Danger is my middle name. Not really. It's Thomas. Thought about changing it though. Okay, here we are. Anything we touch hits the ground. Right now, our test light should be lit up because our pretend, let's go to pretend town. This is your battery light inside your car. Let's fire this pig up and see if all of a sudden it's charging and the light circuit is relevant, which I'm guessing it may be. Right? Just nod your head. Okay. Where's our voltmeter? It's over there. Here we go. Contact. All right. The alternator light went out. I don't hear it humming though. It's charging, old son. Okay. What happens if we remove the L circuit? It quits charging. Dropping like a rock. Got a whistle. Back to charging. Easy peasy. Oh, guess what? You want to know something? With that hooked up, the dashboard is working. So what's that tell you? That's right. Tells you there's something wrong and we're backfeeding it. And it tells us we need to get our little glasses and find out what is the problem. Okay, central junction box behind lower left side of dash, fuse 45, 10 amp. We need to check that one. And there's also a big one here, fuse 116, 30 amp behind lower left side of dash. So we have a 30 amper that feeds the ignition switch through the ignition switch out here through this fuse, boom there, boom, boom. And it must not be, think Eric, use your words, what were you just going to say? I'm just looking at this, just wondering if we can tell which one's supposed to be junk. I just lost my train of thought here, just thinking, well, if we're backfeeding this and the cluster lights up, I would think if it was a dead short, if it was a dead short to the point it was blowing that fuse from here to here, let's just go check the fuses, quit with the hypotheticals. Fuse 45, 10 amp, fuse 116, 30 amp, like I said, the inside of the truck's kind of a mess. I think they've been playing the hokey pokey. Whoa, dude. And we've proven what we need to prove. Let's see what fuse is blowing and see if it's still blowing. Oh, Eric. You get some doozies. There are times when you call it quits and you walk away. Kenny's right about that. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. We got a fuse there. We got a fuse there. I'm 95% certain we're not getting the whole story about what's going on. Awesome. Would that be your guess too? It's my guess. People think I'm cynical because I piss and moan about stuff. Oh, why do you always say that? Well, because it's true, man. It's the old say less, pay less. What would have been easier is if the customer said, I have a truck that doesn't charge because it keeps blowing a fuse number such and such. Would you be willing to look at it? Yeah, now it's a different story instead of wasting our time out there figuring things out. Okay, fuse 45, and 116. I don't know if they're numbered here. Not that I see. Lots of extra wiring. We got the classic blinky box. Your classic blinky box. Tapped into all kinds of stuff. I don't know what fuse is what. So we're gonna need to get a diagram because I don't see. Oh, wait a minute. We might have the plastic parts laying over here on the floor that I think have the label on them. Hang on, boys. That's coming close to you. Nope, I don't see it. Stand by. I looked it up in service info, took a picture of my cell phone. 45. Let's see. Enhance. Okay, bottom row. Oh, guess what? It's the one with the missing fuse. Man, I'm starting to hate people. Look, that fuse is still good. I don't hate people. It's just, tell me the fucking truth, man. I don't know. I'd rather deal with a liar than a thief, I guess, if I had to pick one. Not that they, I don't know. It's not really a lie if they don't tell you anything. I don't know. Just stop, Eric. Stop it. Why won't that go in? Oh, it won't go in because there's no freaking wire there. Oh, never mind. This guy's half blind. I didn't know that that was a fuse hole. So I think, sorry, I'm going off on a rant here. 48, 47, oh, okay. It's the fourth one over. And there's no fuse in that hole, so that's why I was 48, 47, 46, 45. Fuse is blowed. Let's do what he's probably done 100 times already. Drop that one on the floor, get the new one. Fuse is in. Dashboard's lit up like a Christmas tree. That fuse is popped. Well, let's do this. Here you go. Sorry about the piston and moaning, guys. Sorry. Let's see. Battery light works. Boom. Truck starts and runs. Boom. Gas lights on. Out of gas. Okay, so, well, what do we know? What do you know? What do you say, huh? Okay, again, sorry about the piston. I'm trying to not be a piston moaner. It's taken over my life. I'm trying not to do it, but here we are. That wire, we don't have to worry about this or anything this way. We don't care about that fuse. We don't care about the ignition switch. We only care 10 amps. That's on that circuit. That's a 30 ampere. We only care about this circuit, the 10 amp side of the circuit. Let's see what all it runs to, because it has to be more than just the charge indicator. It goes to a splice, so I'm assuming it goes to other things. Let me look it up. Here's fuse 45 on the power distribution wire diagram. 10 ampere. Comes down to that splice. Goes to the clutch triple function switch jumper. Whatever that is. Then it goes to the cluster, goes to 4-wheel drive module, main light switch with fog lamps, accelerator pedal, auxiliary control module on diesel, and the old overdrive cancel switch. Does this pig got an overdrive cancel switch? If so, I have seen this a time or two. Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Oh, we got I'll get you. Don't get anything on the seat. That's one thing for sure. Oh yeah, she's got the classic overdrive cancel switch. Let me see it from in here. I bet I know what it is. Oh, lucky guess. It was Philip. Yeah. Now we're just taking a big fat guess because obviously this truck is a wiring nightmare looking at it. But we're going to go for what they call low-hanging fruit, if you will. And I've seen this before on these old Ford pickup trucks, where they do their drinking from a Dixie cup. These fortified dancing fools. Had my hand there like I was gonna catch it. What'll happen is this old shifter, it's got some wires hanging out of it. And the constant shifting. More fuses on the floor. Usually makes this wire rub through on the end of the column here. Oh man, she's not a tilter. She's not a tilt-a-whirl on this model. Break. Yep, now she got a hard block right in the way. Yeah, I have to move you folks for a minute. I can do these in. Oh. Bing bong. Whoops. Nice problem, lady. Your freaking keys fell out. I think that's how that's supposed to come out, so don't worry. Don't sweat the petty stuff. Pet the sweaty stuff, that's what they say. Lucky for me, this kid had the whole dashboard all completely ripped to shreds. Screws missing out of, well, everything. Kind of like them like that. Let's see. Uh-oh. Were we right? Did she give the old rub on the old tube? It's a classic. The old tube's all rubbed up in here. It's usually right where these little guys come out of the shifter assembly. Usually they're pretty chowdered up. I'll show you here in a minute. We're not a real high-class production. Wham bam, thank you, lady. Our experience won. Enhance. Enhance. Unenhance. Don't look at my corroded thumb. Look at the corroded wire. That's all it takes is that little rub right there, old son. Boom. That's it. That's all it is. A little rub-a-dub-dub on the wire here from giving it the old shifter too many times. You know, just that. You can see where these things rub. Whoa. Unenhance. You can see where they rub up here on the shift tube. It's a common problem. I've seen it 1,000 times. Not that many, but I've seen it enough to know that the first time it took me a long time, and the second time it took me no time. Just gives a little rub. That's all it does. You rub it too much, you're gonna rub right through it. Thank God that wasn't true for our teenage years, am I right? So there we go, that's it. We'll a little black tape and move on with your life. The biggest thing is to make sure that it's just a single wire that rubbed if you're gonna do the old black tape pretend I didn't see it situation. Ideally what you would do if it's a perfect world and this thing was, I don't think he's showing this truck anymore, I guess is what I'm getting at. Too many flaws to take this thing to the truck show, but if he was, what we would do is you have to buy the whole shifter. Wow! Holy son of a frig! Where were we? Right here. I guess what I'm getting at is if both wires were rubbed where they are going to short on themselves, now you got an issue. So what we'll do, we could be super cool about it, unplug it, slide the piece of heat shrink over it, heat shrink it up, gives it years of use and abuse. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. I think we might. Gets me every time. Gotta saw through that like a chunk of wood. Get rid of that zip tie. Got somebody installed on there. Get right here, we can unplug the shifter. Can you guys see? You can't, can you? Well, you get what you pay for. No, I'm just kidding. So there's our, let me see if I can rotate you. Hold on. All right. Shifter's unplugged. Here's your problem, Rocco. You're not gonna get a piece of heat shrink over that, and you're not going through to depin that like a fool. I don't know how much our big heat shrink, I don't know what the shrink ratio is. Not that much. Not to go from that big to that small. It's like a 10-to-1. Ours is like a 3-to-1. Black tape it is. We're gonna use the old Tessa tape. I think that's gonna be our smartest option, in my opinion. But you know what opinions are like. The old Tessa, she's a little more abrasion resistant, I think, and it's soft, which is nice. It doesn't have really anything to do with anything, but it's inside the cab. We're not really worried about it getting all wet and corroded. Besides, at the end of the day, if this happens again, guess what? We know exactly where the problem is. And I just got a new blade, so this should be awesome. Wow, new blades are great. That's illegal in 19 states, including the one I live in. Alright, there's a good layer. Now it can take another, what is this, an 03, another 22 years to get rubbed raw again. Unless it's pew pew. Like I say, I think for what we're driving here, I got no static with this guy. So like I say, she ain't no show truck. This will probably work until the big one hits. We're gonna do a double layer just in case it makes it for, how old was it? 22 years. In case it makes it for 44 years. We're gonna give it 44 years of protection. I love Tessa tape, because you can get your grubby mitts all over it and boom. So I'm gonna plug it back up. Boom. Slide the rubber down. That I think that went in one of these holes down there somewheres. Down there somewheres, he says. And then this, I think you flip it around. I was testing you guys. I was testing you. Y'all passed. Because I want to get it just... Oh man, you guys almost went for a ride again. Almost again. Speaking of super hot chicks. Oh hey, what's up? What's up, oh girl?
What's up?
Oh, you know, just finding broken wires.
I have a question for you.
You're not even impressed anymore. You're not like, oh yeah, what'd you find?
Of course you are.
Oh yeah, what'd you find? Oh, you're so impressive. Let me hug you.
It's like your sixth sense broken wires.
Nah, this one was built off experience. Now we have the ethical dilemma, though.
Uh-oh.
The ethical dilemma, Mrs. O. How do you charge for experience? Because if I didn't know where it was broke from past experience, we would have been ours.
It's just a young boy.
This boy? I know.
Yeah.
But he drinks and drives because there's beer caps in here. So now what do? We got that ethical dilemma too.
You gonna teach him a lesson?
No, probably not. I'm just gonna get paid and move on to my life.
Here, there's no like beer cans or nothing in the back.
No. Maybe he just picked up these off the street and so they wouldn't pollute. That's probably it.
Yes, they're really good kids.
That's what kids do. Let me pause the camera, Mrs. O. I guess I should have recorded that conversation with Mrs. O, but she was talking about the customer's name, so we can't really do that. But she had a good question. There we go. Okay, there we go. Why does it feel like I've got to shut it off too far? That's start, accessory, off. Key doesn't want to come out in that position. That's a weird one. I have to go temporarily hook the battery back up. Is that accessory? Yeah, that's off. That can't be accessory. These don't have a backwards accessory, do they? What in the thunder? Let me find my pick again. Oh, where it is. I don't remember having to fiddle with this to get the key off. Ever since you. Ah, great. Okay. I think it wasn't in park out. I took the lock cylinder back out and the key comes in and out of it good. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I think it wasn't up in park or something. We were fiddling with it. Because now it's all good. Start. Okay. Huzzah. Alright, let me put the rest of this junker back together here. Oh yeah, I think we was talking about the question Mrs. O had about the customer that had the question. And that question is, customer states they've got a 14 Chevrolet Silverado. Oh, that's Desperado. They got the 14 Chevy Silverado. It's got a code in it that says it needs a new BCM. Can I put one in it, and when can they get it in? So I answer that question just like I always answer the question. Mrs. O knew the answer to the question, and that answer is, would you like me to diagnose it, or would you like me to change the parts? That's what I always tell the customer. I give them the choice. I don't argue with them anymore. 90, high 90 percentile, 98% chance they're wrong, because they're doing AutoZone code diagnostics, I call it. Pull the code, change the part. Oh, there is no clips. Is there no clips on this side? Oh, there's not. It's just screw holes. Oh. Am I stupid? I swear there would have been clips. Clippity-doo-dah, clippity-yeah. Anyhow, I always give that option to the customer. I let them know that, you know, if I put their BCM in, which case I'll only do new, it won't do used. If I put it in and they're wrong, they still owe me the however many thousands of dollars that costs, or whatever it costs. I'm just making up numbers. And I always try to encourage them slightly that it's cheaper for me to diagnose it and fix it than it is to just, you know, change the parts that the kid at AutoZone told them it needed. And you would be surprised. Most people will take the AutoZone diagnosis, and I'm using that term loosely. We'll say the parts store. I call them all AutoZone. They'll take the parts store diagnosis over your diagnosis. And that's mostly, I assume, because the parts store diagnosis is free and done by an inexperienced kid who's never worked on a car ever, but somehow can go out into the parking lot and make the call on a body control module with a $25 Actron scan tool. It's pretty amazing. And you know what? They're never mad. They're never mad at that guy. You know, when I put the body module in, of course it still doesn't work. Yeah, and then at that point they don't know what they're gonna do because that was all their money. Just like the problem with the shifter. I've seen that story a million times, folks. Over and over and over. Also, if you guys run a shop and, you know, a truck comes in like this, you know, dashes tore out, switches are gone, you know, radio's gone, don't put any of that crap back. Just leave it, fix the part you came to fix, get out of here. I know some shops have a strict policy, like, you know, they won't change a part without their diagnosis and stuff. I don't know. I've been at this over 25 years. You just give up after a while with the general public. They come in, they want the part changed, put it on there, take their money, park it back outside. I don't mean to sound like a prick doing that, but if you don't do it, somebody else is just gonna. So if he wants me to put a body module in it, no diagnosis, no nothing, absolutely. Of course, you know, I document well and stuff. In this case, though, talking to him, it sounds like a simple bad starter. And everybody goes off the deep end. You know, we go off the deep end with these, you know, new electronic vehicles. And, you know, see it all the time. You know, other shops sending cars here. Oh, I need this module programmed. I need this computer put in it. And I ask them, you know, just like I ask the customers, regular customers, street customers, I call them, do you want it fixed or do you just want the part changed? I just give you the option one time, you tell me, we're out of here. We put the part on and everybody's in agreement before we start, and that's it. And then if they get all, you know, if they get pissed off, like, well, geez, it still doesn't work. Here's your repair order that you signed, that you stated you wanted this part changed with no diagnosis. What would you like me to do next? Well, what's it going to cost to fix it? I told you before you had me change your stupid part what it was going to cost, but I don't know. I don't get the mentality. I don't pretend to understand anymore. I just keep on keeping on. Anyhow, here we are at 12.06. Battery is hooked back up. Let me cut the key on. Contact. $14.25. Charging nice. I already fixed the wires on the alternator. We're out of here. This poor truck's only got 53,000 miles on it. Did you guys see that? I think that's what I saw. And like I said, I got no static with this guy or anybody really. You just learn to roll with the punches anymore. But this, again, would be a perfect example to what me and Mrs. O were just talking about. Do you want the new parts or do you want the car fixed? Boom, this thing got several $100s. He spent more money on parts than I would have to just fix it the first time. It would have cost him a fuse and time. Instead, it cost him a fuse, time, truck's down for however long, alternator and battery. So way more expensive to unload the parts cannon than it is just to have your car fixed. If you have somebody who's competent, I guess, if you will. I don't know. I do get vehicles from shops that come through that look just like this. You know, it's been to the shop, it's got the alternator, it's got the battery, and it's coming here because it's got to be the main brain box. And then we'll put the brain box in for them if that's what they choose. But most of the shops that I deal with, local, we got a lot of great shops that bring us work. And most of them know not to just come here with their guests and have me throw a part at it. You know, it's cheaper for them, cheaper for their customer. Come here and just get it fixed, get it diagnosed, and then, you know, decide whether or not you want to fix it. Because it may be the main brain. They go bad all the time. You know, the main brain could be bad. Could be, you know, whatever. But it's easier to just figure out what it is instead of just, you know, I don't know if that's how you shoot a cannon. You know, I guess so, but you catch my drift. You're picking up what I'm putting down. This case, we got lucky. You know, we looked at it. We seen it had, you know, the classic Ford overdrive wires. I've seen them before. I don't remember how long it took me to diagnose my first one, but long enough. It went in the vault. It went in the vault, Jerry. You know, So that one went in the vault, and boom, we resurrected it. And the old truck's good again for a while. The proper fix, if you will, is to replace the shifter assembly. So, but like I said, it's a young boy. We'll help him out. And, you know, just tell him if it happens again, if it blows that fuse, you know, put a shifter in it. But putting Tessa tape on there, that thing's going to rub until this thing rubs itself in half, which probably won't be long. Hard to say. I don't know. Maybe it's Southern. It's still got fenders, box sides there, just a little wrinkly, but I don't see any rust. So maybe she's stout. I don't know. What I do know is I want to see you in that comment section. How many times you seen the old shifter rub through on the wire on fuse 45 on the F-Series pickups? A lot. Insty, Facebook. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.